don't know how to start.
I don't know how to start either.
This is our first video that we've ever done together. We felt like we owed it to you to say thank you.
For your loyalty, for your support.
All that.
All that.
All that. We came up here in 1997 to open a business with no clue about how to do it, where to start. I mean, we went and made an S Corp and did all the stuff, had the books and the stamp and the real deal business. And I guess we had an idea of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at least I thought that we would get involved in a community in some way, but I did not know the extent of the roots that we would grow in this community. I did not know then that we would serve people and then they would bring their children in and then those children would bring their children in.
Mm-hmm.
That surprised me.
That's where the loyalty comes in.
Yeah, and I don't want to name a lot of names, but it's the people that keep coming back and provide that lifestyle for us, that loyalty, and they know, I guess they know we're going to take care of them. We're going to...
Well, we'll give it our best shot. We try.
All right. At the very least, they knew that I was trying. You know, we did stuff wrong and we made mistakes, but we covered them. And we couldn't have done it without all y'all's support. We couldn't have done it without all the employees that we had over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a ton of people come through that shop and we were able to give back in that way. People would come in and they would want us to buy an ad in their
Awana
or their Hillcrest.
Mm-hmm.
We would do the ads for Hillcrest, or we did parades and we did balloon festivals.
Or sponsor races or sponsor
all kind of stuff.
Whatever the school activity is.
There's just so much of that goes with, it's not just making money for your family. There's so much community that goes with it. It was the running group that I was involved with came and spent money
Mm-hmm.
and stuck with me. The four-wheeling community that we got involved with came and spent money and stayed with me. The Jeepers, the FJ guys, all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Robert and Fletcher. How many mobile jobs did Robert
Come and help you with?
Come and help with?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I owe a lot to Chris Fleeman. You remember when we did that 15-year anniversary? Chris Fleeman got me in touch with all those different salesmen.
Right.
And how to do this, how to do that. And he made those introductions for me. And that was 15 years into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed everything. I remember getting mad at Kelly Kenyon. Ooh-wee.
She put you straight.
She did. She did. She told me that, you know, how did she put it? She said, you know, Mark, our successful people look up their own part numbers. I was so mad, but she was right. And she put me in she changed the trajectory of my life. She changed how we did business with just that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
We started this thing in 1997, and Lori had long hair, like middle of her back, almost to her butt, long hair. And she was going to be the spray tech. She was going to shoot because, in general, women make better sprayers than the men. But somebody was allergic to the chemical within like a day. So
After the hair was cut.
never,
And I never went back. Never grew it back out.
Never. I remember Robert and I shooting a baptistry,
Yes.
and him shooting me to the floor, like I was stuck to the floor, couldn't move, and he pulled me out, and we left part of my jeans on that baptistry floor. We just covered it over Rhino and kept on going. I had a giant hole. Do you remember working the fairs?
Yes.
Like the Upper South Carolina State Fair.
Up in Easley for 10 straight days.
We would go to work at 5 or 6 in the morning, work in the shop all day long, and then as soon as the shop was done, we'd go work that fair till midnight, 1 in the morning, get home at 1 or 2, back up to do it again the next day for 10 straight days. We did that for years.
We did.
Do you remember all the Line X guys and all the
That came and went from Greenville.
Yeah. I probably outlasted 5 or 6 Line X guys and I don't know, 4 or 5 Rhino guys. There was a Rhino person that opened up at Donaldson.
Yes.
There was a Rhino person that opened up in Seneca, 2 or 3. I mean, there was a lot to it.
There was a lot of competition.
But we did all that crazy stuff. We were young and on fire and working every show. And how did you feel about opening the business?
Scared.
Scared?
Scared. We came from Sumter with a nice house. Mark worked at Pepsi. We had good money coming in, and he comes and he tells me he's quitting Pepsi. He's going to start something new and open up a new business. And I thought, it's going to be Kool-Aid and popcorn for dinner for months.
It was. It was.
But he moved up here first. I stayed back in Sumter to sell the house. And, I don't know, within a month or so, the house sold and we got our first apartment, and not knowing anything, any person, our way around Greenville. So.
We didn't know anybody.
We didn't know anyone.
How did you feel when we made the decision to sell? What was your...
Just as scared.
Just everything in life. So
he makes some scary moves.
So that's something worth talking about. That's like I named a YouTube channel The Third Act because to me, there's 3 acts in a play generally. So your first act was from mom and dad's house to meeting Lori to getting married and doing all that stuff and working for Pepsi. And I guess I started Rhino at 29. So that kind of life, that's like a totally different life than what we had.
Yeah.
So that's like the second act, that 25 years of running the Rhino place. I was glad to be a Rhino guy. I was glad to pull up at the gas station with a big red truck with the Rhino linings down the side of it, and in that second act, that was really cool to be the Rhino guy. And I had this idea that I was going to be just a Rhino guy, and it took me about a month to figure out I was going to starve to death doing just Rhino. So I remember going to Pep Boys and buying a set of vent visors and a bug shield, like anybody could put those on. So I took them back to the shop and I hung them on the wall and, Truck Accessory Center. And that was our first foray into truck accessories. But Clay negotiated a deal on an entire tractor trailer full of UWS stuff. What was it? Toolboxes and bed rail caps and tailgate caps. And, when we moved into the new shop in Simpsonville, I still had some of those tailgate caps. But that's what you did. We didn't know. They didn't know there's such a thing as a wholesale distributor that we could go through.
Mm-hmm.
And we wound up using Keystone and Meyer and Allpro. We wound up with 3. Because it took that to get products for the clients on the next day. It took that to service the customer properly.
Mm-hmm.
It did. But back to the third act is, it's tough selling your business. But our children that really didn't want it. It's not their thing. It's my thing. They've got their thing that they're doing. So we were left with really no choice but to sell it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you choose to sell it, it's a matter of when do you do that? Do you do that at 55? Do you do that at 65? Do you do that at, I remember having friends at 65 and 70 wanting to sell their business and couldn't because of a downturn in the economy or whatever. And I didn't want that to happen. So we started looking at it and praying about it. And this is not a political thing at all, but my company did better under a Republican or a conservative leadership. So I remember telling Lori, if Trump wins, we'll sell it. Because we'll have 4 years. It takes about 4 years to sell a business. I felt bad about that. So, because what kind of Christian bases his decision on who's in office? So then I told Lori that whoever wins, if this is the right time and this is God's plan, this is what we'll do. We'll list it. And then, Trump, of course, did not win, and I was a little despondent. So it took me a few months to actually sell it or try to. But called in a broker. He said that my figures were right on, that he thought that I should be able to get what I was thinking it was worth. And he never did give me a contract. And 3 or 4 weeks later, this private individual came in, a scooter, and wanted to buy it. And I already had the figures, so we talked about it. It took us maybe 6 months to come to terms on
maybe that long.
How to structure it, how much, all the structuring. And then it took him 3 more months to actually come up with the money, and we made 9 months later,
mm-hmm.
he bought it. And it's a conscious decision to sell it, because Leonard is buying all of us up. I don't know if y'all know that, but Leonard is buying all the, they're slated to buy 50 or 60 more of these truck accessory places. I felt like you'd have a better chance of getting service with a local guy than with a corporation. Nothing wrong, I guess, with selling your business however you see fit, but that was my decision. And, our decision. And that's what we did. We felt like that was right. We felt like after all these years, we have a responsibility to all of you. So that's how we sold it. We purposefully chose to sell it to an individual. And I hope he does great. I hope he takes my little business and takes off with it. And I hope he takes care of all of you. And I hope all of you continue to go to him for stuff. And I hope in 10 years I can go back and there'll be a part of me there, and there'll be this legacy
mm-hmm.
that we've left. What do you think?
I hope he does well. He has the potential, he has the knowledge, he has all the know-how. I hope he can just turn it into something and grow it bigger and better than...
I feel like I took it as far as I could take it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... There's a point in life where you're I don't want to learn the new stuff. I don't want to, you know, the vehicles change, and I don't want to learn the new technology. And these young guys, they get it, and I think they're gonna do way better. I think they're gonna continue what I did and do much better. So, to all of you out there, unless Lori has something to add,
No.
just thank you so much for a 25-year run. I could not have done it without all of y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't hit record.